All right, friends. Are we ready for this? I had a pin in my hair the other day that not a pin, a bobby pin, and it made this bump. That's what happens when you get on Zoom and you haven't looked in the mirror for a second. You have to fix your hair. And I have a dry throat, and no matter how much I drink, it's not shifting. So I'm guessing that I don't know. It's winter and the heaters are running. Anyone else feeling dry?
We have a humidifier on um our heater, like our furnace,
I've heard
and
of
that
those.
has helped
I've
a
thought of
lot.
getting one.
We got it when we were in Idaho because the wind and everything
Yeah,
just dries
it's so dry.
everything out.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that's helpful. It was only like $200. I think the most expensive part was paying somebody to come install it. Like,
Yeah, I get it. I get it. Yeah. Okay, we have Brianna on live. We have Katie on live. We've got some of my team members here on the Zoom with me. You can see them. Um, Super excited, you guys. This doing a Q&A is always actually it's one of my favorite things because I don't have a huge page of notes that I have to make sure that I'm covering major topics and all that stuff. But I do want to just say welcome, welcome, welcome. And my name is Robin Whitworth, and I run this group. I created this group. I've created all the coaching programs associated with the Elevated Mother brand. Katie says she's at the doctor, so she might be in and out. I got it. And over the years, I have considered doing business coaching, and I did do one course back in 2019. And Heather, who's on my team now, took that course, I believe. Yes, Heather? And let me move my screen over here. I can't even see my team. And it was awesome. I loved putting that together, and I learned so much. I learned so much. And what I did learn, though, was I had a mentor at the time that coached me through putting together a course. She's an incredible course creator. You've probably seen her in the course creator space. Her name is Amy Porterfield. She was a wonderful mentor for me. I paid for her programs in full. I loved it. I loved being mentored in her space. And one of the things, however, that she taught me that I decided with every mentor, know this, friends, know this and take wisdom. And with every mentor you have, I've learned there's about an 80-20 rule, even sometimes 70-30, where it's about 20 to 30% of what they teach me or tell me or guide me isn't for me. It's just not. It's not something I want to incorporate. It's not something I want to embody. It's not something that I actually find serves me in who I'm becoming myself. I see people sometimes take a mentor and they feel like they have to be 100% with this person. I have to believe everything they say. I have to line up with all their values, and I have to do everything they say and do it their way. And I have found that if I allow, right, this is a perception, this is a mindset. If I allow this 20 to 30% zone of okay, clearly they're my mentor. Clearly I've invested. I'm going to do some of the things they say. I'm going to be willing to experiment. So I experiment on 100%, but I'm willing to let go of 30 and say, that wasn't for me. Don't love that idea. I don't see that serving my family or my clients. I don't. So one thing she taught that works super well for her, clearly, she creates a course in full and then launches it. At least that's how she did it in 2019. And when I did that, I got into teaching these women about business, and they had a lot of questions that I hadn't put in my course. So I spent weeks and weeks and weeks perfecting these beautiful slideshows with these beautiful images and getting the right colors. And it was just so beautiful. Heather even probably remembers how beautiful the graphics were. But I had to shift so many things that it was like, what did I spend all that time doing? And I had to realize that for me, I really, really value shifting in real time. I highly value being able to shift in real time, to be able to see something and go, oh, that's not working. And instead of, ah, shit, I gotta go create my whole program again. I gotta review this and I gotta review that. I go, you know what? The world's always changing. My clients are always changing. I'm always changing. What if I allow things to be created in real time? What if I allow for shift? How can that even look? How does that even look? So a couple of years later, I got a different mentor, and she told me how you can do really simple videos in real time and gather really valuable data and create a course in real time with your clients. If you master who you're talking to, you can create a program in real time that's made much easier. And when you need to make shifts, it's easy. It's so easy. And so that was the 20 and 30% that I didn't take from that first, was like, you know what? I'm going to not create the program exactly this way. And as we've looked at business coaching again, as I've moved into, let's just do the thing. Let me just do a program, the Elevated Mother Experience. Let's just make it, let it run for a couple of years and see what happens. See our most favorite things. And I created that in real time with a beta launch. Cherie and Heather were both beta members. They remember. We like moved platforms in between. We had to re-upload videos. We had tech that didn't connect. And because they were beta members, they got to come into the Elevated Mother Experience for a reduced price. They got to come in and they got to know that things were going to shift, and it was awesome. I had nights where I was crying. I had days where I was on cloud nine. Maybe they experienced the same thing too. But I loved overall that experience. And I loved this coach for modeling for me, this mentor, how I could do this, how it was okay. And it fit so much better with my values of, I think things change in real time. I think people can shift in real time. And being a Christian and understanding repentance and that it's just a course correction all the time, I thought, oh, can I create a Christ-centered business where we can look at what he taught and like put that into business skills? What if I allow my clients and myself to course correct all the time? What if we learn new skills along the way? What if I have to add that extra piece in the PDF? What if I do? Who cares? It was awesome. It's been beautiful for my clients to see me shift in real time. So with the Elevated Mother business, I'm like, hey, lots of moms that are in the space of, I want to be a vehicle bringing in money. I want to be a vehicle doing this. How are they appearing? Like, and people ask me all the time, how are you doing this? How are you doing this? How are you doing this? So I'm like, okay, I'll put together a business coaching program that will just give them the basics of like, here's the spiritual piece to this. Here's the feminine. Then we'll give them the masculine. Here's the structures, the strategy. So one is, what do I even believe about business? What do I even believe about anything else that's going on? Cherie, Missy said she wanted to be here. Will you just touch base and see if she has the link?
Mhm.
Because I know it's a different link than what we use on regular meetings, but I know she even posted about how she would be here. So just, I had that thought. I'm like, I better just check in and make sure she doesn't feel like she's left out in the dust somewhere. So in this program, I'm just going to lay out the program for you. For those of you that are here for questions on this, it is going to be 10 weeks. We're starting February 6th. There will be 2 calls a week. There will be a call. The beginning of the week will be a class where we will come on and teach a class. Like, and I say we, Christy Garcia is on here. I think Missy was going to be here. She'll be teaching a few things as well. And you will see us Tuesday and Thursday, and we will be teaching on the Tuesday. Here's the class, here's the material, here's the thing. Thursday will be, let's all talk about this. Like, let's Q&A, let's mastermind, let's hear your questions, let's hear what's not making sense. Let's do some coaching on your beliefs, let's do some coaching on your strategies. Real like collaboration, which I know isn't huge in this space. It's always one person talking and these people just hopefully take the right notes, right? And we're like, no, collaboration is the future, ladies. If you haven't picked up on that, I do a lot of studying with futurists, people that are like, this is where it's going to go. Collaboration is the future. Having a mastermind is going to be integral in business in the future, especially for women, especially like this is huge. So getting on a call and being like, this is what I would love to talk about, adding your piece. There's going to be people in Elevate Mother Business that you will hear them have a struggle and you'll be like, oh, friend, I learned this. I've got this for you. And you'll be able to come on and share that. I do not believe that I should just know everything and you're going to learn from me. No, no, no. We're going to learn from everybody. You're going to come in here and be able to share what you know in the spiritual manifesting, like manifestation laws area that we're going to be teaching, and in the business structures, you're going to be able to add your piece. That's going to be so valuable for all of us. So you can look forward to that kind of a structure each week, a class and then a collaborative session. And then what's going to be so cool, which I've actually never done before, but I'm really excited about it. We have an interactive workbook that you will open a Google Doc and it will say, Elevate Mother Business, Section 1, Class 1. This is the points we went over in class. Type about it. Here's your journal prompts. And we want you to type in the box. It's interactive, so you type right there. You don't have to save a special PDF, and it's awesome. You're going to type right there. And Christy and I are going to have access to this. We will see everything that you journal. We're going to see everything you put together. And what's cool about Google, click and write, add a comment. And we will be able to comment for you and say, hey, this is a beautiful thought. Expand this piece. Hey, I see you're struggling with that. Let's talk about this, and go back and forth with you and be able to have one-on-one right there in your workbook. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be amazing. This is a level of one-on-one. We may or may not continue with the program. But for the beta launch, we want to see exactly what you're going through to add the most value possible. Be like, what is this person doing? We're getting our eyes right there, rolling up our sleeves in your stuff. It's going to be amazing. I thought I put the Zoom link in there. People are asking for it. So let me go back to, so I can see the screen with all of us. So Missy is here now. Yay! I'm so glad. So this will be a different experience that way. We'll have this workbook. So we'll have 10 full weeks. We'll have 4 weeks on the spiritual, 4 weeks on the structure, 2 weeks for implementation. We will have group discussions those weeks. It's a week for just like, hey, what do you got going on? Let's talk about this. Let's get onto your website. Let's screen share. So that the goal is, if you have an idea, you're like, I'm coming to this with an idea. I'm ready to shift the money situation at home, or I just feel the call and I really want to do this. You will be able to have your idea ready to go. We'll have you be able to package it, message it, and be able to have a soft launch before you end this program. That's our goal. If you're coming to us with a business, and you're like, okay, I've had a business for a while. I don't know what my problem is. We are going to be able to troubleshoot and show you and help you so that you can be selling the best that you can by the end of this launch. That is our goal. That is the goal of this program. You will be able to conceptualize, how do I create a business that I love, that's going to work with my family, my spouse. We're going to have in the spiritual section, guys, we'll have these conversations. How do I talk to my spouse? How do I talk to my kids? How do I embody what I'm doing and it's not extra on my plate? It's not extra in my time. We're going to talk about this. It's going to shift the way you think about business forever. So, any direct questions on that I can answer while we're on the Zoom? And then there's a few questions that I've had from polls that I did in my stories over the week that I want to address. Brianna says she needs that. Beautiful. So any specific questions on the program structure? Love the internet lag. Some people are like, well, what's the investment? What's the investment? Here's the thing with money. And if you've ever been on a call with me about any of our programs, you've heard this. Our top clients, which is probably all of you watching this call, the people that are going to love our programs, they are women that hold themselves clear up here. Super high self-standards, which typically then spills over to money. And their money story becomes highly emotional. And so they say, well, how much does it cost? How much does it cost? And I'm like, well, if I were to tell you it's $5, you would question the value. If I tell you it's $100,000, you would question the value. So interesting. So what we get to do then is share information and say, do you feel like this is the next step for you? Like, you know it. You're like, yes, I've watched Robin's videos. I feel like she is going to take me somewhere. Because once you know on an energetic level, this is the next step, then you get creative with the money. I know that about you. You get creative with the money. It's like if your kid needs a life-saving surgery and you've talked to the doctors, you see all the scenarios, and energetically, this makes sense. It doesn't matter if that surgery is $50,000. You get creative with the money. I know this. So it's like whatever price point I say, if this is the right step for you, you'll get creative with the money. I like to take that conversation into the DMs and be like, okay, where are you at? Can I actually serve you? Is this program, do you feel like you want to do this? Then let's talk about the money. So I am going to leave the money in a direct message conversation because that's the best for our top clients. We want to really see, like, if you know exactly, I want to respect that if you know exactly that this is the next step, do or die, I know this is what I want to do, then the money, you just get creative with the numbers. It's just numbers. You can see that in anything in your life. Whether you're at Walmart debating on a toy for your kid for their birthday, don't you run through the little pros and cons list? That's our ideal clients. Our ideal clients aren't the one that just pulls everything off and doesn't care. There are ladies out there that do that. It serves them. But our top clients aren't that way. They're very intuitive. They're very like, let me look at the pros and cons. Our top clients hate wasting time and they hate wasting money. That's a perception on what those answers are, but we know that. So if you're wondering about the money, we're going to take that into a private conversation because we want to make sure you are at that place to respect that versus giving you a number and then you have an emotional experience about it. It's like, no, let's not even do that. I don't even want to waste your time with that. And you don't have time to waste your energy on it. So we're not going to do it. But I want to talk about the program and I want to talk about what your fears and struggles are with this idea of being a mom and running a business in that way. So I don't see any questions particularly about the program coming through, which is really interesting. So then one of the questions that I had come through twice on my polls was, how do you balance it all? That is so common. Beautiful. I would have been really surprised if that wasn't one of the questions. My team is on. Is one of you just like, oh, I want to speak to this? I want to speak to the balance piece. Anybody?
I'll hop in for a second. Clearly, I have a baby. She's 1, but I've been a part of this since I found out I was pregnant shortly before. Maybe she's gonna let me speak. Maybe she won't. But the beautiful part about this program is that it is like adaptable to being able to do it on the time. So that's the part that was really helpful for me, is to be able to do it in real time with my kids. Like I can listen to the videos while I'm folding laundry or doing things like that. Like it was very, very user friendly with EMX. It still is, obviously, but like I know going forward with all the programs, like because you are a mom, you cater to mothers, right? Like, so you understand that, and you're very like, we had a call this week and this is what she was doing, and you're like, oh, it doesn't bother me. I'm like, I'm so glad, but I'm gonna hop off because clearly we're having an issue.
I like to say that to moms. They're like, well, I can tell that because they're women that hold themselves up here, they have this perception of what other people will think of them, right? This is one of our most common things we get to help moms overcome or have this different reframe about. And I say, dude, I'm a mom. And I created a program for a mom, which means all the classes that Christy and I do and that Missy comes in, they're going to be live streamed into a group, which means Facebook just holds it there. And if you can't be available, you go watch it later and we don't care. If you come on live and you've got kids running around, if that works for you, that's great. You'll see my kids come home from school sometimes in our calls. You'll see them running when I've said, hey, don't come in unless it's an emergency. Well, you know what? Whether or not they can make chocolate chip cookies is an emergency. That's great. Like you just learned, like, let's learn to have grace for this kind of stuff. It's not good or bad, just is. Just is. Missy, did you want to speak to the balance
Sure,
piece?
sure, I'll pop in. I think this is a big piece that I've learned over the last year of being in the elevated mother experience is just, and like this is what we're going to work on in the program. So I want to speak to this idea of there's never enough time, right? So overcoming this feeling and this fear of time scarcity as a mom is really important piece to grow your business. So what I mean by that is also, like I posted about this program, I think the biggest thing that moms need to overcome to be highly successful in business and motherhood is this idea that you have to work harder, you have to hustle harder, you have to sacrifice your sleep, you have to it's it's this sacrifice mindset that a lot of Christian moms have with motherhood and with business. And so the spiritual principle behind that is really what we're going to really sit with in this program and help you uncover is that you don't have to kill yourself and sacrifice being a mom to build a successful business. But it is a mindset shift and it is a spiritual shift of really living in this faith principle of all these things are available to me. I don't have to force it. And so there's the skill of, like, Robin was talking about building your package and knowing your audience. There's all of those business skills, but there is this mindset to overcome of time scarcity and this work harder principle that you get to drop. You get to learn how to drop that time scarcity fear and really work through faith. And that is a principle for me that was new to me in business that I have seen work in my life, that I think is really unique to this program, which is what makes me so excited about helping these moms really be able to believe that that's available to them, that they don't have to literally sacrifice their bodies and their sleep and their time and their families to be successful. So I think that's the biggest mindset shift piece that people can expect in this program that I'm so excited about.
Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. We are definitely going to have an entire class on releasing time and money. It's going to be so good. I laugh like that because I remember doing an entire business up to 6 figures in the hustle mentality, staying up late, like just like this, and then like I have to do this, I have to do this, I have to do this, and show up in a certain space. And I was like, oh, that really boils down to a self-leadership piece and this idea of that balance even exists. And there is in this Elevated Mother Collective group where this is being streamed today, search balance. You guys, if you aren't using the search bar, guys, we have, I don't even know, Heather, what is it, 76 classes or something recorded in here? Like, this could become a treasure trove should you choose to use it. I teach a lot of principles in here that I teach in my programs. It's just in the program, you get the one-on-one. You get us like, this is my thing. We work through your thing, right? But the principles will be similar. So if you want to go and use the search bar and type in balance, there is a video I did on balance. I think there's 2 of them actually. And you will learn my top principles of balance in there. And I think I even, maybe it was on one of our program calls, but I talked about the ballerina. I posted about it, didn't I? If you go into my profile and search balance, you'll see that I posted about how a ballerina, if you were to zoom in on her feet when she's sitting there in this beautiful pose on her toe shoes, her feet are like this. And her exertion is so great. And as soon as she lets go and starts leaping around and dancing, it's different. Balance of like a perfect balance is a myth. It goes against all the laws of physics. It goes against all the laws of anything anyone ever taught, including Jesus of Nazareth. This is not a thing. To be completely balanced is not a thing. It's something where we go, oh, I would like these different areas. How do I feel about it? That's, if you want to talk about balance, it's more of a personal sensation of, am I peaceful about this? How do I feel? Knowing that life's going to go like this. And it's actually more fun and more expansive when it goes like this. It's just, am I in the anxiety of like craziness? Or am I just flowing like this? If you want to have a line of balance and you just flow across it. Some days I'm going to be learning about the masculine. Some days I'm going to be learning about the feminine. And you just do a little dance. A lot more fun to dance than to hold completely still and think that there's just like, you know? So just be aware that I teach that way. That is a principle I live by. And if I feel like I'm kind of out in left field, I'm like really pulling on what, you know, kind of going outside my parameters. Where's the parameters? According to who? Who says when I'm out of balance? God? Your husband? Your mom? Your neighbor? That last book you read? Like, according to who? A lot of people are like, oh, I'm so out of balance. And I'm like, who set up those parameters? This is something you're going to learn to take responsibility for, and it's awesome. You go, oh, well, that's according to me. Can I just shift that? Can I just say that doesn't mean I'm out of balance? Can I just say that that night that we had cereal for dinner was just how it was and they all got fed and I'm the end? Does that mean I'm out of balance? For me, when I find myself wanting to maybe get more in alignment, is I start to feel constricted, right? This is context for you. I start to feel like my body's like, I like wake up in the morning like that. Like, I'm like, oh my gosh, like, whew. I have a lot of stress in my shoulders. And so when I wake up and I'm like, I now know that. I'm like, oh, I think I've probably focused on something too much this week. What could that be? And I journal it out and I'm like, oh, whew. Do some yoga, drink some water, you know, and I don't judge it anymore. Like, oh, I'm out of balance. My family. I don't do that anymore because I've now learned who sets up those boundaries and how I feel about it is up to me. It's pretty amazing. It's pretty amazing. Janelle says, how can you tell when you're ready to expand? How do you know when you're ready, ladies? What had you clicking the button to start working? What had you signing up for a business course? What had you jumping into a product line? How did you know you were ready?
I'll jump in. I wasn't ready. I think that's just it. It was like when the level of where you are and the level of where you want to be doesn't line up and it doesn't match, that's when you seek out guidance, right? That's when you're seeking out the the guidance of a mentor or a coach or something, it's like, okay, I know where I want to be, but this is where I am. And it's like, okay, how do I get here? Right. And so I think that that was the biggest thing for me, is that also I had been following you on social media for several years. You and I had met in person, and I had a belief in you. And that was part of my decision, was like, you know what? I know Robin can do it. And if she can do it, she can teach me how to do it. And so I wouldn't even say necessarily that I like felt like I was ready, but it was just like, how do I want to get to here? And I know from watching you that I know that I can get there by following your protocols. So I had full faith in that program, and like, it's been a beautiful experience to be here. So
Beautiful. Thank you for sharing.
I had a thought too, Robin. To me, just asking that question says that it's in your awareness and you want to grow in one way or another. Just asking the question.
Huge right there. Huge. Take note, Janelle.
And I would add, Robin, that how does the Lord speak to you? How do you know any choices in your life are right? Do you know how he speaks to you? Do you get calm? Do you get confident? Do you get excited? I was super excited. I got to talk to a mom this week about the program. And the more we talked, it was like, you know what? Right now, no, because she has other priorities and she's going to make other choices. But it was a good no. Does that make sense? Like, confidently for her, this wasn't in alignment at this time because she had other priorities and other choices. And I celebrated that. I said, good for you, because you're recognizing that. You're aware of that. You know, so if you do take a look at yourself and say, hey, this is in my awareness. Is this a priority? Is this a direction, you know, between you and the Lord? I think you're going to move in the right direction of figuring out the next step for you.
Beauty. Any thoughts, Missy? How do you know if you're ready to expand?
I liked all of these answers combined. I think when we get quiet with ourselves, and I mean, and really sit with ourselves and say, what do I want? Like, I think it's important sometimes to set aside, because I've been talking about this a lot lately, is just setting aside all the things you feel like you have to do or should do, or as a mom and as a wife and all the things, and set it aside and get with yourself and ask yourself, what do I want? Like, what do I want? I think a lot of times as Christian mothers, we don't give ourselves permission to really sit with that and have desires and have our gifts really come forward. And so I think what Christy said was really great, of really getting clear with yourself of what, like, I call the holy yes or the holy no, right? It's like really asking yourself and allowing yourself to decipher in your own heart. Put aside the kids, put aside your husband, and say, what in my personal heart do I want? And allow yourself to be truthful with the answer. And then the amazing piece, the whole reason we're running this program is that there are moms that have these deep yeses inside them, and they don't know how to take that yes, say yes to themselves, and put it into action, and to do it in a way that is in alignment with them, right? We've been taught in hustle culture that you can hustle around your family and that it's, you can sacrifice to make that happen. But what if you could say yes to your family and say yes to yourself and this desire within you? Like, that's what this program is for. So if you feel that deep yes, that holy yes inside yourself, then you deserve to have the support and the belief system and the skills and the people around you that will show you that you can be a mother and a Christian and a good wife and say yes to yourself. And so for me, like, that's what this is about, is really getting clear with your soul and your soul's work, And you are allowed to have something that God gave you to share to the world that is not just motherhood. You're allowed. And what if God put that in there for a reason? So if you have the desire and the dream, God put the desire and the dream in you. So if that yes becomes holy, that yes becomes deep, and the program is to allow you to see a different way of viewing business in a spiritual realm, in balance with motherhood. And yeah, there is going to be a little juggling, and there is going to maybe be some uncomfortable moments where you have to prioritize. But is it worth it to you, if that yes is wholly inside of you, to just not act on the gifts that God has given you? That's what I've had to ask myself. Like, am at the end of my life, if I have this beautiful gift inside me and I just set it aside because I was a mom and I never shared it, is that what really God wants for me? Is that what I want for me? So that's what Robin's done for me, and that's what I am confident Robin can do for you. So if you feel that, like, you get quiet with yourself and you feel like God gave this to me, I want to share it with the world, how can I do that with motherhood? Here is your holy yes. Like, and if it doesn't align, then like Christy said, say the no confidently with your spirit. But like, give yourself have the courage to sit with your heart and your desires and your dreams and say, did God give this to me for a reason? Am I ready to give it the holy yes? And let it be that. And have the courage to invest in yourself. Okay. I'll get off my holy yes soapbox.
Oh, we need it. Guys, do you see why these ladies are on my team? Because they saw my journey and said, wait a second, I know her. How is she doing this? Because we also know other people, as Janelle says, she's like, most moms I know balancing they both feel guilty that they're not showing up enough for their family. I would venture then, Janelle, that you get to look outside of these people for other people, because there is a lot of moms that do not feel guilty. We don't. And you might say, well, then you might have a belief that we should. I don't know. But that's what these ladies are talking about, is they've seen me shift and go, you know what? I don't feel guilty about this. Why? How? There's a whole book I should probably write about how that came about. But it's context similar to Missy, where it was, why did I have these feelings? Why do I have it? Why do I even have the fiery feeling in my soul to even have the awareness, as Heather pointed out? Why do I even have it? Why do I have the awareness to serve in this way if it doesn't mean something? Is it just my ego wanting more money? Is it just, right? And I know Janelle and I have talked. I know that that's not your story. You are a woman of high integrity. That would not be the reason that you start business. It would be 1,000,000,000% because you're going to serve. So it's interesting, this cultural, I believe, that's a belief I'm going to boldly say. I believe it's cultural conditioning. And in many Christian circles to say, oh, well, if your kids are not your top priority, da, da, da. And I said, well, who says what putting your kids as a top priority looks like? If I've got a business meeting and I set my kids up with a fun game, maybe the neighbor comes over, like, is that not being an intentional mother for me to go and take 1 hour to do a class at 10 o'clock on Friday? And then I go back and I turn it all off and I'm completely present. Does my business get 1 or 2 hours a day of complete whatever? And I've been intentional with how my children are being cared for. There is zero guilt in this. Zero. It's just like a mom that says, oh, I can't start a business because then my kids would suffer. And yet she's zoning out on Netflix to decompress. She's taking hour-long baths to get away. Do you see this? It's interesting because those mothers may not be building a business, but they feel the same amount of guilt because it's a belief system. It's a belief system that they've built that they should be with their children 24/7. And like, and if you have that belief, building a business and having the guilt will be something that you would look forward to. That's how I'm going to say that. You will look forward to battling the guilt forevermore because that's just your belief system. Now, if you've watched me for a long time, you're like, clearly Robin's children are not suffering. My children are not suffering. They are thriving, if anything. I had no modeling of a mother figure doing her dreams. I had no modeling of that in my childhood, but I sure had modeling of a mother that got burned out, was exhausted, was struggling in many ways. My mother's incredible. She had 10 children. Who does that, right? It's amazing. Beautiful. My neighbor is going to have 10 children. I love it. I have no regrets of growing up in a big family that way. I think it's wonderful. But my mom didn't have this idea or modeling that her greatest dreams and gifts could be realized alongside motherhood. And I saw the consequences of that. And so I was willing to go, you know what? I believe it could be different. I believe this feeling deep inside me is from God. And I'm going to answer it because if he's giving it to me, I believe he doesn't give me anything that I can't do. He's created it all. It's already done. I had to go, you know what? He's already created my success. He's created my team. Cherie was watching me. I didn't even know she was watching me. She's like, Robin, I've been watching you over the years. I'm like, you have? Wow. She's been formulating ideas and beliefs about me for months before she decided to contact me. We're having team members come onto our team that have been formulating ideas of how they could help my business grow before they even come on the team. This is such a beautiful awareness to me that God is truly orchestrating an incredible orchestra. And he's inviting people to play the part of the piccolo, and he's inviting someone to play the part of the viola, and he's picking someone to play the part of the xylophone. He gives you the invitation. It's your choice. I don't believe that if you don't do a business when you felt maybe you should, whatever, that he's going to be like, well, you don't get blessings because you didn't follow this thing. No, it's your choice. He's just saying there could be an amazing experience for you here. Would you like to choose it? And if you don't choose it, he gives it to someone else. That's fine. Maybe you come back and say, no, I really want to choose it. Great. He will accept it then too. There is no such thing as a once in a lifetime opportunity. If you want to do it, you can choose it. If you want that experience, it is yours to pick. I've recently become aware of even the idea that I get to create the choices that I want. I say, you know what, Heavenly Father, God, source, whatever, I would really like that experience. And I set that intention and that faith that I'd really like to do that thing. And all of a sudden people start appearing, books, ideas, mentors, whatever. I'm like, that's so cool because it's already there. Everything's already done. If I choose to succeed in business, my success is already written. I just go and fill in the gaps. Yep, I showed up this way and did this thing. Now, we will always have contrast. Things will show up for you. Your kid will throw the biggest fit he's ever thrown on your first day of business. You might lose, as Cherie did, a key person in your life that you know would have been your 100% supporter. But what's so amazing with Cherie is she sees those people cheering for her regardless of whether they're here in the physical or not. Beautiful, right? It's so beautiful. It's our belief systems, how things function for us. It's our belief systems, ladies. It's all your belief systems. So good. So, any other specific questions on here that we're missing? One thing I will share on the piece of not feeling like you're showing up enough for your family, there's been books and quotes that go around talking about quality over quantity. I actually don't personally subscribe to that. I believe it's my degree of presence. whether it's an hour, 5 minutes, 4 days, whatever, you can go on a 4-day cruise with your kids and think, oh, I was with my kids for 4 days when you were scrolling on your phone most of the time. Like, do you know what I mean? You can be in the room with them, but are you actually with them? This is something I'll be speaking on the motherhood piece in the program, and I'm speaking on it today. So whether a mom believes she's guilty about not showing up for her family isn't going to be whether or not you do a business. It's going to be your degree of presence and your degree of accepting the level that you are willing to live in your life. Your degree of presence will always parallel the degree of any transformation or shift you want to have in your life. Always, 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 always. Every time. What's your degree of presence? That will determine whether the kids remember a far removed mother or an intentional mother. And it won't matter the time or space or whatever it was. This is what I experienced with my mom. She was with us all the time, but I remember distinctly her being emotionally unavailable. And then I remember times when she got help, which was a great example to me, that she became more emotionally available. And I was like, wow. And now she's in her early 60s and she's thriving, living her best life. If anyone knows my mom. Like, and if you come to the retreat, guess what? You're going to meet her. So it's going to be really exciting. You get to meet this amazing woman that has shifted so much. And it wasn't in my early childhood. Her example of her shift in her late 50s has inspired me with some of the choices I'm making now. It's beautiful. So awesome. There's no such thing as balance, just showing flip. Yeah. Bednar is a leader in the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, for those of you that may not know him. He also wrote a book series called Learning by Faith, and it is phenomenal. Beautiful. Pick it up if you haven't. I don't know, whatever religious sect you belong to, the principles in there are gold. Very good. Really taught me a lot about this faith idea and learning by faith and what the real time shifts. It was good. Really good insight. Any other thoughts, questions? We have Amy and Jackie here. Did you guys have thoughts you want to add or questions specifically on the Zoom? Janelle says she has it. Girl, you can just pull yourself off the shelf and start living in that lane, because I think you have a lot to offer. Amy, you came on video. You going to say something?
Yes, I couldn't unmute myself. I was just curious because I've watched your journey for a long time as well. And I think I'm wanting to do this program for my voice coaching. But one of the things that I feel a little bit hesitant about is like, is it going to work when voice coaching, like I need to be there listening to a voice, like there, and I know like you get to be there coaching people. So like there is that personal requirement of time, but I just wonder how scalable my idea is, and if I can get to that point that you talk about of like $20,000, $50,000 months with voice teaching, when that's not something I have like a framework for. So I think there's like, that is it possible, but then also like, is that something that is covered in the program of like the scalability of something so that it can grow and become big without requiring more and more and more of like me personally, like time wise and stuff.
Great question. Super good question. This was something I actually was afraid of with coaching. I was like, how can you do that? I can't take more and more clients. I can't do that, because when I started in 2020, it was all one-on-one. And I got mentors that specifically had done what I had done, what I wanted to do. And I had a beautiful spiritual coach in 2021 who said, Robin, what if you get to be the first one to do it this way? Because guess who I saw? I entered this beautiful coaching space in 2021 of all these women doing 80,000, 90,000, 100,000 months. And I'm like, I'm going to learn from these ladies. I quickly saw no one had 5 children. Nobody in this group had 5 children. And Jackie is on here. She has 5 kids. I'm curious how many she's seen in the high real estate space with 5 children. Doesn't mean it can't be done. Just means there's a general cultural status quo thought that it shouldn't be or can't. That's why there's not more. I will never forget sitting in a conference that I went to, and I'm sitting there and I looked around in this room, and the speaker had 5 children. And she was like, how many in here have kids? And people raise their hand. She's like, how many in here have more than 2? And her point was not to say that everyone that has 5 kids can do whatever. She was just saying, what cultural beliefs have you brought in that you're using as a reason you can't do something? Oh, well, nobody does this. Nobody does that. I've never seen that. And so even with me, with a coaching business and 5 children, and remember, I've been doing this 10 years. So when I started, I only had 4, and the youngest was a baby, and the oldest was 9, and I've grown. Now my oldest is 19, and my youngest is 7. Like, we have definitely gone through, I've gone through a birth, I've gone through a pregnancy, like I've gone through a life and death surgery doing business. And what I've learned is anything can be scalable if that's what you want. Now, if you don't have a framework or modeling, that's where you get to use your creative abilities that God has blessed you with to say, how could this work? For me, that went, oh, I could do hybrid. We could do so many one-on-one touch points with a hybrid program with group coaching. Oh, I could have an online portion of stuff where they can learn stuff and I don't have to be there. We could have a workbook where they could start doing this thing. All of this was evolutionary. It started with me doing a one-on-one and taking notes, kind of like a therapist. But that's what I knew. It was okay to start there. But as far as the scalability, now I'm learning even more about this type of thing and this type of thing and this type of thing. And how do you offer this? And before you know it, Amy, 2 years from now, or 6 months, or 3 months, whatever you decide, you might have a little online curriculum that has this huge, amazing thing about voice and basic lessons and basic whatevers that you've recorded. And maybe they record themselves and send it to you in email. Maybe you have 2 team members that help you do this. Maybe it's a membership that's $300 a month and you have 5,000 people that are subscribed. And they don't all choose to do the mail-in offer that might be $20 per person to do a mail-in voice recording. You know what I mean? I don't know. I just know that when I'm willing to get creative and go, what is this? A lot of people won't scale because they have a preconceived idea of what the client thinks success will be. And so then the person goes, oh, well, they're going to expect this and this and this, and they won't think they're succeeding if they do this. All of a sudden, you've taken responsibility for the success of your client. If someone chooses you to teach them voice, they expect something. That's up to you to put in your messaging. If your messaging says, you will get to be in a group call with me every Monday at 4 p.m., and then you'll have an interactive workbook where you send in your voice samples and I reply, or my team, or do you know what I mean? And all of a sudden, it's different than it's ever been done before, and more people than ever get to experiment with the power of the voice. Because Amy Harrison stepped out and said, no, it doesn't have to be done this way. And I don't think my clients actually want that. There's a million people I know that want voice lessons, and they don't because they think it has to be one-on-one. How many people can you reach when all of a sudden you change the paradigm? Won't that be huge?
Yeah, that's really good. I appreciate just like I can create a different framework. And I think that's already what I want to do with voice. Like, I don't want to be the professional voice coach for the people that want to be the stars. Like, I want to be the voice coaches for moms who just want to have fun and feel confident, and for kids who don't want to get into like the perfectionist, nitty gritty, tidy, I don't know what to say.
Amy, I'm having visions right now. Like, I know you have so much to offer, even in the coaching space, like reframing and all this stuff. And I'm like, oh my gosh, what if you changed voice lessons forever? Like we're changing how people think about this. What if it's, oh, this is what I hear in your voice. Let's talk about this and this. And the next week their voice is better, not because of the exercise, because of their beliefs. Like,
Yeah.
what? I'm ready to
Yeah.
sign up. Anybody else? But I see that. Whether something's scalable is whether we drop the current cultural belief about what something has to be.
Cool. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Can I share something?
Yes.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Okay,
Yeah, you're
so
breaking
I
up
want
a
to tell
little
you
bit.
just like a 2-second. Okay, I'll message her. Can you still hear me?
Yeah.
My best friend who passed away, she left 5 kids behind. And right before she died, I asked her to record herself singing for her kids. And she looked me in the face, and this is what she said. She said, I never sang to my kids. And I was flabbergasted because we grew up singing together, right? And I was a not great singer. She was the good singer. She was a piano player. She taught me to sing alto. Like, I'm like, are you kidding? You never sing to your kids at bedtime? And she's like, I don't like my voice. And I sing to my kids and I don't think I have a great voice. And I was so sad. Like, her kid grew up without hearing her beautiful voice. She lacked the confidence in herself. Give gift to that. The moms that you need to help. Like, these are the moms that you need to inspire to sing to their kids, to say, let me teach you basic so that you that's not math. This like that might sound dramatic, like, but like I get that gift that you've given. You just want the mom to sing.
Oh, we lost her. But all of you ladies, with your business ideas, this is the depth of where the holy yes will come from. Is when you sit in it long enough and ask the questions like this. How is it scalable? How can I package this? What can this even be? And you actually believe your success is certain. The reason ideas come to me for Amy is because I believe she'll succeed. I have no doubt in my mind that every woman that comes into EMB, the Elevated Mother Business, will succeed. I have no doubt about that. Zero. All of your business ideas can succeed. All of them. Every last one of them. Because this is the depth of which this fiery thought of maybe I should do something. Maybe I can change something. This is power that's beyond whether your email system works or not. Like, I have found that when my energy is so pure and full of integrity, the people that are meant to come do not care if my email is perfect. They don't. They don't care if my podcast came across right. They don't care because the message they hear is right. That's why I have to let go of the responsibility of the success of my clients, because they are going to choose whether they succeed or not. It will have nothing to do with me. I get to provide the guide. I provide the framework and the belief. They choose the rest. That's what I'm responsible to, is showing up to my messaging, but I'm not responsible for anything else. And so we'll talk about that. So this was a beautiful example. I love that question so much. When people are like, I just don't know if my idea will fly. And I'm like, well, it probably won't in your current mindset. But let's talk about a successful mindset. So one tip I gave to Brianna before we even got on this call, ladies, really start sitting in the mindset of, how do I behave? Who am I? Who do I talk to? What book do I pick up? If my success is absolutely certain, start living in that brain space. How do my kids react? How do I feel about them playing when I'm on a meeting, if my success is certain, how do I shift then how I feel as a mom? That's what I've done. That is a huge, it sits right here in front of me every day. Robin, your success is certain. This program's going to fly. What do you do about it? You get on a Q&A and you talk about it. You make posts about it, right? So it's past 11. You guys, this has been amazing. Beautiful and amazing. So if you're interested in elevating mother business stuff, shifting how you feel about that, come into our group, and it's going to be an incredible time of your life. So put EMB in the chat and our team will be reaching out to you. Have an amazing rest of your day.